Good morning, I'm Abheudaya Shrestha, and these are the headlines of the hour. Campaign of HPV vaccine against cervical cancer feeble. Around 1.55 million young females need the vaccine, but only 10,000 to receive it during the second stage of the campaign. Caste-based discrimination continues across the country. At least one case recorded in every 5 minutes. Victims range from the general public to the people's representatives. India's Financial Crime Agency arrests Chief Minister of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal, in connection with graft allegations relating to the city's liquor policy, to be presented before a court today. And Nepal suffered their third consecutive loss in the FIFA World Cup qualifiers after a thumping 5-0 loss to Bahrain in the first leg of the second round match. According to international organization Global Cancer Observatory, cases of cervical cancer were seen in 2,169 people in the year 2020 in Nepal. To reduce the risk of cervical cancer, the government has provided human papilloma virus HPV vaccine to around 10,000 young females in the first stage of the vaccine campaign administered about 6 months ago. The second stage of the vaccine campaign is being administered now. Cervical cancer can be cured if treatment is carried out on time. The Nepal government is providing HPV vaccines through campaigns. However, people needing the vaccines have not been able to receive it. The government had purchased 20,000 HPV vaccines, out of which it provided the vaccines to around 10,000 female youths some 6 months ago. Now the second stage of the vaccine campaign is being administered. The World Health Organization has recommended to provide HPV vaccines to girls between 9 to 15 years of age. However, due to the limited number of vaccines, it has been provided to only 10,000 girls who are 15 years of age. The 2021 population census of Nepal shows that there are more than 200,000 girls that are 15 years old. The Department of Health Services says 1.55 million female youths still need to be provided the HPV vaccine. To attain the goals of sustainable development, the government has to provide HPV vaccines to 90% of the girls between 9 to 15 years of age by the year 2030. However, only 10,000 have received the vaccines so far. Apart from the general public, people's representatives have faced caste-based discrimination also. For instance, Goma Damai, who is an elected ward member in Sikar municipality of Hilly district Doti in the Sudur Paschim province, received threats when she campaigned against caste-based discrimination. Goma says her appeal for efforts to end discrimination often go unheard, but she will continue her work. Elsewhere in Doti, campaigner Gauri Kami, who has been working to raise awareness against bonded labor practice, says people from her community and anywhere she goes tend to look down on her, threaten her, and prohibit her from accessing local water sources. Majority of Dalits in Doti do not have their own land and are compelled to work on others' land and therefore be victims of discrimination. Activists say the government's practice of calling their area Dalit settlement had added to the discrimination they face. Although the government declared the end of bonded labor practice, around 100 families in Belchor and Tulokola are still bound to the practice, as these regions were not enlisted in the government records. The Caste-Based Discrimination and Untouchability Offense and Punishment Act 2011 has determined jail term of 3 months to 3 years and a fine of 50,000 rupees to 200,000 rupees for anyone found guilty of discrimination based on caste. However, implementation part has remained feeble. According to a study by Dalit Commission, an incident of caste-based discrimination and untouchability occur within every 5 minutes. The Interim Constitution of Nepal 2063 declared that caste-based discrimination was abolished in the country. Concerned laws were formulated 5 years later. However, the deep-rooted social ill still remains in the society to this date. Incidents of caste-based discrimination are reported from different parts of the country. while there are many such cases that go unreported. Nepal had ratified the United Nations agreement regarding eradication of all forms of discrimination 6 decades ago in the year 1971. A number of legal and policy reforms have also been enacted. Article 24 and 40 of the Constitution of Nepal envision rights against caste-based discrimination. 55 complaints related to caste-based discrimination had been filed at the National Dalit Commission last year, while 41 cases have already been registered so far this year. Serious forms of discrimination, abuse, assault, being displaced merely because of intercaste marriage, and even murder are witnessed in the country. In our Public Voice segment, we had asked people in several provinces why caste-based discrimination has not been eradicated. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
चेतनाको विकास नभएको कारणले
राजनीति परिवर्तनले अगाडि गए तापनि र कानुनमा लेखिए तापनि यो सामाजिक र सांस्कृतिक हिसाबले र मान्छेको एउटा चेतना स्तर चाहिँ वृद्धि नभएको कारणले
ऐन कानुनहरु बन्यो है यो कार्यान्वयन पक्ष चाहिँ कार्यान्वयन पक्ष चाहिँ नभएको कारणले गर्दा
कानुनी रूपमा त्यसको प्रचार हुन नसक्दा छुवाछुत अन्त्य हुन सकेको छैन।
नीति नियमहरु बन्छन् ती नीति नियमहरु कार्यान्वयन गर्न नसक्ने
अहिले पनि हेर्ने दृष्टिकोण र सोच्ने तरिका फरक भएको छैन। सम्बन्धित निकायले राम्रोसँग नजर नराख्दा फेरि
सोचमा चाहिँ परिवर्तन चाहिँ हुन नसकेको जस्तो चाहिँ लाग्छ।
जुन व्यक्ति त्यो छुवाछुत भनिया छ त्यसलाई झन् सजाय दिनु पर्यो।
ठुलो भन्दा ठुलो कारबाही गर्नुपर्छ छुवाछुत हटाउनका लागि।
पहाडी हो, हिन्दू हो, मुस्लिम हो, जुन पनि जाति हो मिलेर बस्नुपर्छ।
कानुनले यसलाई चाहिँ निरुत्साह गर्न खोजेको भए तापनि समाजमा जकडिएर रहेको अवस्थामा चाहिँ यसलाई दण्डहीनताले प्रश्रय पाउनु हो।
तल्लो स्तरदेखि नै सबैलाई समानताको व्यवहार गर्दै लग्यौं भने हामी सुधारमा पनि जान्छौं।
प्रचार प्रसारमा हामीले लान नसकेको हो, कानुनले यो भन्न नसकेको हो।
पहिलेदेखि नै चाहिँ चलिआएको प्रथालाई हटाउनको लागि त त्यहाँ चाहिँ उनीहरुलाई ज्ञान त दिनु पर्यो नि त। त्यो छैन, त्यो नभइसकेपछि त हट्दैनन्।
कानुन ल्याउनु पर्यो यसको निम्ति र जनचेतना बढाउनको निम्ति।
Former Minister for Finance Prakash Sharan Mahat had proposed for the potential budget principles and priorities for the next fiscal year on 26th of February in an effort to ensure budget plans could effectively be implemented. However, the change in political equation left the proposal stranded. The budget has also been overshadowed by political gambits. Nepali Congress, that is in the opposition now, has not expressed disagreement with the budget proposal, while the ruling parties seem uninterested in taking ownership. Although 99 lawmakers took part in the discussion at the House of Representatives, the number of suggestions were minimum. Likewise, during the parliamentary committee discussions, lawmakers seemed focused on pulling budgets to their own electoral constituencies. Meanwhile, Minister for Finance Barshaman Poon has said all suggestions will be duly considered for the next fiscal year's budget. The government has continued with its trend of transferring budget from one heading to another. The Ministry of Finance has surrendered after being unable to spend the 4.5 billion rupees allocated for the Kathmandu-Tarai Madesh fast track. The money that came back from the project was used by the Ministry of Fiscal Infrastructure to pay construction companies. Meanwhile, the Department of Roads, that has not been able to spend even 30% of its budget in the 8 months, has demanded for an additional 16 billion rupees. The department has said additional resource is required for around 78 projects, including the Kali Gandaki corridors, Beni Jomsom Korla Road, Naranghat Mugling Road project, and Galchi Trisuli Mailung Safrubesi Road project. According to the Ministry of Fiscal Infrastructure, calls for contractor companies for 750 projects are yet to take place. The budget allocated for these projects are to now be transferred to small-scale projects. Likewise, the Department of Irrigation is also preparing to transfer budgets of around half a dozen projects. Around 350 million rupees allocated to make use of barren land will now be given to Dairy Development Corporation on loans by the Ministry of Finance. Experts attribute the lack of preparations in announcing programs and projects as the reason behind the scenario, repeating every year. It's now time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question. What's your take on the practice of transferring budget from one project to another? Your options are A, lapses in project selection, B, high-handedness of those with access to power, and C, a way to spend the budget. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And it's time now for the international updates. India's Financial Crime Agency arrested Chief Minister of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal, last night in connection with graft allegations relating to the city's liquor policy. His party said a setback for the opposition ahead of elections. The arrest means the main leaders of the decade-old Aam Aadmi Party are in jail following the arrests last year of two of Kejriwal's deputies in the same case, which the party has called dirty politics. 55-year-old Kejriwal rose to power as an anti-corruption crusader and founded the Aam Aadmi Party in 2011. Scores of supporters protested outside his heavily guarded residence and clashed with security forces as news of his arrest broke. Delhi's finance minister Atishi said on social media that the Aam Aadmi Party was seeking to quash the latest arrest. The agency, the Enforcement Directorate, is investigating allegations that a liquor policy implemented by the Delhi government in 2022, which ended its control over sale of liquor in the capital, gave undue advantages to private retailers. The policy was subsequently withdrawn. The Aam Aadmi Party has said no evidence of wrongdoing has emerged in the investigation. Local media reported that he will be presented before a court today, where the charges against him will be made public. There was no immediate comment from the directorate. Mexican Foreign Minister Alicia Bárcena yesterday said that the Mexican consulates in Texas would provide protection, support, and guidance to Mexicans affected by the SB4. The SB4 is a Republican-backed Texas law that would empower state authorities to arrest and prosecute migrants and asylum seekers suspected of illegally crossing the U.S.-Mexico border. During the news conference, Bárcena added that Mexico has signed an agreement with Venezuela to deport migrants and reached deals with Mexican and Venezuelan companies to employ them. The Mexican government said it will give migrants in the country around $110 a month, part of a program in which they will also have the opportunity to work for different companies in both countries. It's time now for the sports news.
Sports news.
Nepal suffered their third consecutive loss in the FIFA World Cup qualifiers after a thumping 5-0 loss against Bahrain in the first leg of the second round match played last night. In the Group H match played at the Bahrain National Stadium last night, Nepal had a bad start as they conceded 3 goals in the first half itself. Mahdi Al-Hamaidan opened the scoring for the hosts in the second minute of the match. Saida Bakir found the back of the net in the 9th minute to double Bahrain's lead. Ali Madan scored in the injury time of the first half to extend Bahrain's lead to 3-0. Ibrahim Al-Khatal scored in the 87th minute, and Ismail Abdul Hassan converted a spot kick in injury time to seal Bahrain's convincing 5-0 win over Nepal. The second leg match is scheduled for this Tuesday night. Nepal are at the bottom of Group H with no points after playing 3 matches. Meanwhile, Bahrain are in the second spot of the group with 6 points from 3 matches. In another match played last night, UAE edged past Yemen 2-1. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.